Hello, welcome to another episode of the Biased Football Review. I'm Cameron, and today I'm joined by Just Jake.
Just me.
No Lewis, unfortunately, he's sick today. So we're going to be talking about our 23-man teams for the Euros, for England, of course, and picking our starting 11.
Yeah, I'm ready. I don't think we'll have many disagreements. I think a lot of positions pick themselves, but shall I start with my three goalkeepers that I'll be taking?
Yep.
So I think it's pretty obvious that Pickford and Pope both. If this is assuming everyone's fit, that is as well. So I've got Pickford and Pope, and my other one is Ramsdale.
I mean, exact same.
There's a shout for Sam Johnston to go.
Yeah,
but I think even though he hasn't been playing, Ramsdale is just a better keeper.
Yeah,
he's a better shot stopper. So,
and I mean, the other two just pick themselves, really.
Yeah, there's really no debate. I don't think that those two can't go. They both have to go.
Yeah,
to the Euros.
Moving on to right backs, then I guess.
Yeah, I've got Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier as my two right backs.
Same. I also put in Trent Alexander-Arnold. You know, I think Southgate will probably use him in midfield.
Yeah, I
put him in there as a right back.
I put him in midfield.
Yeah, my midfield was already a bit too full of players, so I thought, all right, I'll put him there just to balance it. But yeah, I mean, he'll probably be used as a midfielder anyway.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think two right backs is probably enough, especially with 23 players. You don't want to have take too many defenders. I also have, I'm not going to say his name yet, but I have someone who could play right back as well. But centre backs, I have John Stones, Harry Maguire, and Lewis Dunk.
I've got those two, but I also put Gomez from Liverpool.
I have him as left back because he's played quite a bit of left back this season, but he can also play right back. He can also play centre back. So I have him as well. We've got the same players pretty much, and my left back, well, it's Shaw and Gomez.
Mine was Shaw and Chilwell.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't think he's performed well this season. He's been injured for a lot of it.
Yeah.
I know this is assuming that he'll be fit, but I just don't. I don't know. I think there are players. I mean, you've got more defenders than me, right? Because we've got all the same, and you've got Chilwell as well.
Yeah.
See, I think I've got players. You know, Southgate will probably take about 100 defenders, but
See, some of this was sort of thinking, well, what is Southgate going to do? You know, and yeah, I don't know. I just think he's going to play defensive, and he's always going to take defenders.
Yeah, it is annoying, because I mean, we've got quite a good attacking talent.
Yeah,
like he's not going to take many. I also think there are a couple of players that are unlucky to miss out on ours. I think Mark Gehi is one.
Yeah, I mean Branthwaite as well. I thought about putting him in.
Yeah, for me it was between
just missed out,
him, Dunk, and Gehi for my last slot.
Yeah, centre back was tough. I think
I just decided Dunk just about edged it.
Yeah,
for the overall performance of Brighton compared to Crystal Palace and Everton this season. I just think he probably deserves it a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Midfield?
Do you want to do some midfielders?
I can start off. So, I mean, I think some of them pick themselves. Got Rice.
Yeah.
I put Foden in as midfield, even I kind of forward, but
I did as well.
But, yeah. Bellingham, Maddison.
Obviously, yeah.
And this is where I think it might differ from what you've put. But I've gone for Barkley and Kobbie Mainoo.
Right, I did not go for Barkley or Kobbie Mainoo, my other two midfielders. So I have Rice, Bellingham, Maddison, Foden. I also have Cole Palmer.
Okay.
And I have Trent in midfield. You know my opinions on Mainoo. I've made them very clear.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player, but I think he's a bit overrated.
Well, I'm not going to agree with that.
And I also don't see, obviously you've got the same number of midfielders as me, but you've put Trent obviously in defence. In my list, both Barkley and Mainoo Rice, Bellingham, Maddison, Foden, Palmer, and Trent. I don't think either of them get in ahead of any of those players.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was going to make a switch, it would be Barkley and Palmer, but I think Mainoo stays in.
Okay, well, I just don't agree. I had Ward-Prowse in for a bit, and then I was like, no, I need to take him out.
Yeah, I mean,
but
come on.
Would you everyone just seems to think he's only about set pieces, but like he's in a West Ham midfield. West Ham are like 7th in the league. They're doing very well. They don't have Rice anymore, and their midfield is like one of their strongest points as well. But also, I'm thinking like if you go to penalties, yeah, I mean I'd rather have James Ward-Prowse on penalties over pretty much anyone except Kane. So like he's also another option from that. That's another reason why I put Palmer in as well, because he's pretty much all his goals are penalties this season.
Pretty much.
So like, yeah, I don't think. I think Mainu. I'm fine with Mainu being in the current England squad for the friendlies, but I'm not taking him to the Euros.
See, I think if he plays well in these friendlies, ends the season how he's been playing so far, I think he deserves a part. Even if he's not starting, I think he deserves to be there.
See, I'd almost rather Henderson be in there.
Really?
Yeah, because he has experience. Like he has the experience. He's a leader. If Mainu's just gonna sit on the bench, I'd rather Henderson just sit on the bench.
There's enough leaders in that team, though. You need to take someone because they're a leader, and you're not going to get experience if you don't go and play.
Well, he's getting experience in the friendlies, but I don't think I think it's too early in his career. He's played, I don't know how, like maybe 20 games in his career. It's too early for him to go to an international tournament and like try and be a player to win it or something. Like I'd much rather have the players that I have in mind.
I don't know. I think if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Fine. I should have put Lewis Cook in there. I should have done it. I was tempted. I was really tempted to put him in there. I mean, his stats this season have been better than Mainu's, but remove.
It's not all about stats, though, is it? Sometimes you've got to look at the eye test.
He passes the eye test too. Right. So I've got 6 forwards. How many have you got?
I have 5.
I just
5.
I just know the player you've not put in there.
I thought about putting him in there if we're thinking of the same player. I really did think about it, but I guess it's because I put an extra player in
defence.
Yeah, in defence, so that unfortunately pushed him out.
Right. So I think the obvious ones: Kane.
Yep.
Saka.
Yep.
I think Watkins is pretty obvious. You probably got him. Grealish.
Yep, I got Grealish.
Bowen.
I don't have Bowen.
You don't have Bowen.
No.
And Solanke.
I've got Rashford.
Oh my God, I'm fuming right now. So you've got no Bowen.
No.
And you've got no Solanke.
No. I mean, my justification for Rashford is, one, he usually performs for England, like better than United at least anyway. He can change a game. Like as inconsistent as he's been, he can have a moment that will change a game. I think you need that in a tournament. And I mean, he's also just Southgate's going to pick him. Like,
I mean, that's true.
I think there's no. It's like Grealish. Like I think there's players that could be there over Grealish, but he's going to go to England.
I think the thing with Grealish is that he has been injured for a bit of this season.
Yeah,
but he is still a really good player, and I still think. I mean, I haven't put him in my starting 11, but I still think he needs to go. For Bowen and Solanke, I mean, Bowen's got I don't know how many goals this season, but like 14 or something, and he's been playing all across the front 3 for West Ham. So I think he's a very good option no matter where you put him. And Solanke, I mean, I had to put Solanke in there. Obviously I've already got 2 strikers in Kane and Watkins, and I think no one can argue that Solanke should be in over either of those 2. But I mean, the goals, some of the goals Solanke's got this season have been incredible. Again, he's another penalty taker. So, yeah, I mean, I say he's a penalty taker, but I mean, we haven't had many penalties recently.
He definitely deserves to be there, but I think it's the 2 strikers that pushed him out for me. Like, he's not better than the other 2, and the way England play and the players in there, I just don't think there's the room for 3 strikers.
I guess also with the number of attackers you brought in, like you can't really have 3 strikers, which is fair enough. And it's more realistic to I think what Southgate would go with, which is like all defenders. But yeah, I couldn't not put Solanke in there. I think you'd understand.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get that, but
I just don't understand. I don't think for me Rashford doesn't go to the Euros. He hasn't been good enough this season.
No, I mean, I agree, but then there's players that haven't been, that great this season, but will go and perform for England. Like, we've seen that in past tournaments as well.
So yeah, like Maguire, I've put Maguire in, but I guess.
Although Maguire's been pretty good this season.
Yeah, he has. And also, like, I feel like Maguire for England is, like, higher than Rashford recently for England.
Yeah, recently for sure. Yeah,
So I think that just puts him in there. Like it's like Pickford as well. Pickford does really well for England. He doesn't make a mistake. So like you kind of have to keep picking him. We've flown through these, so should we do our starting 11s? Because I feel like they could be a bit different. I mean,
potentially.
Yeah.
So I mean, number one picks itself. Pickford in goal.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not really any debate in that.
I think both Pope and Ramsdale are better shot stoppers than Pickford, but he's had the number one shirt for England for so long that I don't think you can drop him because he hasn't done anything wrong. Like it'd just be a bit unfair if you just go, oh, now suddenly Pope's number one, especially as I feel like Pickford's more comfortable on the ball than Pope is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Walker at right back.
Yeah,
I think this is where I think it might be interesting what you've done at left centre back because I've gone for Stones and Maguire.
I've also gone for Stones and Maguire. Okay. I think Walker. I could see you putting Trippier in there over Walker, even though he hasn't had the best season and he has been injured for a while. But I think Walker offers that cover. Like Southgate might go to a 5-back at points and have, maybe put Trent as a wing back or something. So he offers that cover as to go into a centre back position as well. So I think it's more versatile with Walker in the back, especially with Stones as well. He could step into midfield.
Yeah.
So but Maguire, I think we're not blessed with depth at left centre back, are we? Really? I mean, we've got Dunk.
I mean, there's a few options there, but yes,
but none of them have done it for England like Maguire has, and it's kind of annoying because as much as I'd like someone other than Maguire to start, I don't think they can. I think it just has to be Maguire.
I don't mind. Like Maguire's a good player. I don't understand the hate. To be honest,
he is a good player, but every time
he just performs.
Every time we're playing out the back and it goes to Maguire, I panic. I'm just like, we're going to concede. So yeah, just for my heart, maybe I shouldn't put Maguire in there.
The left back, sure. Of course.
I mean,
hopefully he's fit.
I only have like one left back unless I put Gomez there. So.
Yeah, left back is. I mean, that's maybe the least depth anywhere we've got really at left.
Why don't we call up Lloyd Kelly? He can play left back. Adam Smith can play either left back or right back.
If we're desperate enough, let's do
it. He's been injured most of the season anyway, so he might not be fit either. So I think we've got the same. But this is going to be a really boring episode for the podcast.
It looks like it.
It's got all the same players. I'll do my midfield 3. I mean, obviously, I don't think this is what it's going to be like because I feel like Southgate's going to be a lot more defensive than this. But I've got Rice, Bellingham, and Foden.
Mine's the same, but Cobby for Foden. And that is
no, you don't.
Maybe a pure bias.
No, you don't.
But if I was being serious, it would probably be Foden. But
where are you putting Foden then?
Are
you putting him up top in the attack? Or is he on the bench?
He is on the bench in my 11.
What? I thought without Lewis here, we'd have all normal opinions and nothing completely outrageous. But here we are.
He's on the bench for me just because I don't think he can play out wide, and I just really wanted to put Cobby in there.
Maybe I'll put Solanke in instead of Kane. This is not happening. I'm lost for words. I'm speechless. How have you managed to put Mainu in there? How's he wormed his way into the England starting 11 for the Euros? You said he'd be a good player to put on the bench.
Listen,
you tricked me.
I mean, I don't know what you're expecting from me. Of course, I was going to do it.
You did it to annoy me. That's what you were doing.
A little bit of just for the overrated comment.
But I think he's overrated. I think if we're being serious, the best midfield 3 is Rice, Bellingham, and Foden. I don't.
100%.
I mean, Maddison, he's played well for parts of the season, but since he's come back from injury, he hasn't done the same.
Yeah, I don't think he's really picked it up enough to. I mean, compared to Foden, who's been one of City's best players by far. There's just not really the argument.
Yeah. And with the players that I have in midfield, like Palmer doesn't get in over him. Trent, I guess you could argue, might have a shout, especially if we're playing more defensively and we go Rice, Trent, Bellingham. But then where does Foden go in that situation? He'll have to go in the front 3, and I don't think he can go in the front 3.
Yeah.
But right wing, I have Saka. I think that's
me too.
pretty obvious. I guess Foden can play there, but I'm not putting him in. Foden in over Saka. Up front, Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obvious. And then left wing, I'm assuming you have Rashford.
I have Rashford.
I have Jad Bowen. He's had a really good season, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
No,
I
I
could
get
put,
that.
with the players I have, maybe I could put Grealish there, but
See, yeah, I wouldn't start Grealish, I don't think.
yeah, I think Bowen offers more because I feel like Grealish is very one-dimensional, beat his man, get a cross in the box or play it back or whatever. Whereas Bowen, he can score, he can assist. So
Yeah.
I think he's probably been one of the most underrated players in the Premier League this season, Jared Bowen.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
But you didn't even put him in your in your
Because
23-man
I
squad.
just think there's others that edge it, especially if we're talking about England's performance and,
Yeah,
certainly what Southgate's going to do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're not wrong. You went for this more of a who is Southgate going to pick rather than who deserves to be in there.
I mean, I tried really to go with, if I was picking the best England team, but at just times I just thought, like, Southgate's not going to do this. It's just not going to happen. And, I'm trying to keep my hopes down a little bit.
Yeah. So it started off very similar in defence, and then it kind of went a bit wayward as we went forward. You just ended up putting 2 Man United players in that I didn't.
Yeah.
I think those are the only differences.
I mean, I stand by them.
So you're telling me 4 out of your 11 players are Man United players?
4. Yeah, I guess so. But
where are you in the league?
Realistically, I would drop it to 3.
Yeah, I can't agree.
I mean, I think it's justifiable. I mean, you can't really argue against Shaw, and I think
that's true.
With Rashford, like he just has that potential to change a game, which I think you need in a tournament.
But I think that surely if he has the potential to change a game, you bring him off the bench in after 65, 70 minutes.
Well, I mean, arguably, but wouldn't you want to get ahead, rather than be hoping for someone to,
Well, yeah, I would rather get ahead. That's why I put Bowen in and not Rashford.
Okay. I stand by Rashford.
Yeah, I mean, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to not, but I don't know. And plus, I think Southgate would probably play him over Bowen anyway.
Yeah, probably. For these upcoming friendlies, do you think Southgate will go for a more traditional Southgate team, or do you think he'll change it up and put in Branthwaite and Mainu and whatever?
Well, I mean, I'm hoping he puts in Mainu. I think there's not really any reason not to at this point. You might as well just see what other players you've got that can do something.
Yeah,
especially against. I mean, who's it? France, not France, Belgium and Brazil, right?
Yeah.
So it's 2 good teams. You might as well put them up against some good players and see what happens.
Yeah, I think from his selection is however many. I don't know. He didn't take 23, did he? He took more than that.
Yes,
26.
I think it's 26 or 25.
Something like that. But I think with his selection, I think it looks like he's just going to pick a normal.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like that.
11. I mean, I will probably see Kane play. I feel like we might see Bowen play, maybe one of them instead of maybe Saka even. What left wingers did he bring?
Rashford's there. I know that.
Is it just Rashford? Because he likes playing
I think it's
Foden on the
another
left,
one.
but Foden doesn't. He doesn't do it on the left. He doesn't.
No.
He definitely doesn't work. And I mean, I put Bowen on the left, and traditionally he doesn't really play left wing, but he has a bit this season. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess another argument you could have for Rashford actually is that him and Shaw together. I mean, they've played together for I don't know how many years now. It kind of just works. Yeah. And Saka and Walker, I guess through England they've played with together for so long, as well. But I mean, if you're just going to stick with, and I think we both think this about Southgate. If you're just going to stick with the same things that haven't worked, it's never going to work. It's just trying the same thing over and over again.
I mean, I think he has to try something different this year. It is probably his last tournament. If he doesn't, I mean, you kind of, you want to go out and win it, right? For your last one. If he doesn't try something different, that's not going to happen. I mean, how many tournaments has it been now where it's been the same thing and we've been out every single time. The first time we come to a good team, really.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think the last Euros was the only exception, really, when we beat Germany. But Germany weren't even that good in that tournament. I think it's the midfield. I think the midfield is where it happens, because I feel like he's going to play. I think he's going to play Rice, Trent, and Bellingham, and then have Foden on the left, and then that just unbalances the whole team. It's too defensive. Foden is better in midfield or on the right. I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to get the best out of Jude Bellingham this tournament. I think.
Yeah.
And if you're just going to leave him there in a defensive midfield, that's not really going to happen, I don't think.
I think the midfield three of Rice, Bellingham, and Foden is the best in the world right now.
Yeah, no, I 100%.
It's just our defense that kind of maybe lets us down. But again, traditionally in tournaments, we don't defend. We don't concede much.
Yeah,
we win 1 or 2-0, especially in the last
year.
The
defense is really bad. I mean, the only question mark really is Shaw's fitness, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, you know what you're going to get with Walker. You know what you're going to get with Stones, and you know what you're going to get with Maguire. All of them have been good for England.
Yeah.
All of them are going to perform. Pickford doesn't really concede a lot for England. I don't think.
I feel like Walker is better with Man City than he is for England.
I mean, marginally. I don't think by much.
Yeah,
but
just it sticks to my mind the red. I think a couple red cards that he's got. One was against Iceland, I think, recently, a couple of years ago.
I think so.
It's just I think we did win that game. We might have drawn it actually 1-1 or something like that, or 0-0. But yeah, I just hope that they can perform to the top of their game, because realistically we have a really good chance of winning this. We shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But I can just see us losing to Serbia in the opening game.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, I think, along with France, we're probably the best team in the tournament.
Yeah.
We should be making the final. It's whether we do or not, It just depends on if they're going to perform.
I think Spain have a good outside chance, though. I think they've got. I think maybe it's one tournament too early for them, because they've got a lot of young players coming through. But
I think it's just slightly too early. I mean, they're a very young side, but
also with
you never know what could happen.
Fitness of Pedri and Gavi and that them lot, because I mean they haven't really played at all this season because of injury. But yeah, we should do a podcast on our predictions maybe later towards the tournament, beginning of the tournament. Who we think could win? We could do predictions for player of the tournament and all that kind of stuff. Especially because I mean, right now I don't know when this podcast is going out. That will be up to Lewis, but we don't even know all the teams that are in the Euros.
There is still the playoffs still to come, right?
Tonight, I think.
Is it tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it is. It's either tonight or tomorrow, and then England Brazil's on Saturday, and it'll be interesting, because I think it'll be very telling of how the tournament is going to go, because I think the team that he puts out, if he's trying something, like he plays like Branthwaite, or I'm trying to think of other players that have been called up Mainu, then I think I might be a bit more confident that he might try something different for the Euros. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be playing Branthwaite and Mainu in the first game, but maybe, as I said, a more attacking midfield, maybe Stones going into midfield a bit. It's just something does need to change, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if he's just running out the exact same thing on Saturday, I'm going to be a little bit worried, I think, because I mean, I think it's just going to set a bit of a, it's going to kind of set the expectation for the tournament. That's probably how it's just going to go, and then I just will probably go out in the round of 16 to, I don't know, Germany or something, something ridiculous.
In before, it's a Rice, Henderson and Trent midfield on Saturday. No Bellingham, no Foden, just the most defensive midfield you could put out. I'm surprised he didn't call up Phillips, but Phillips has had a very terrible season. Phillips has been called up more when he's not played than when he has played.
Is that true?
No, probably not. But but I mean, when he played for Man City, he didn't play. He was still getting called up, and now he's actually playing for West Ham. He's just not being called up at all.
Well, I mean, I guess if he's not playing great, then
Yeah. Apparently, it's better to not play than to play poorly.
no, I guess so.
Just keep people thinking that you're a good player when actually you're kind of a bit of a fraud. I don't know why Man City didn't need him,
Yeah.
and I don't think England needed him. I think Lewis Cook's better. Mainoo's better.
Wow, I think that's the best thing I've ever heard you say about Mainoo.
I've also said that he's a good player and he'll be very important for England in the future, but you just chose to ignore that.
I mean, listen, I don't know when you said that, but
In the overrated video,
okay, well,
overrated podcast, I said he's a good player. He'll be important for England, but it's too early.
Again, I mean, I think if you're good enough, you're old enough.
But is he good enough?
I mean, based on his performances so far, yeah.
But there are, as I've said multiple times, there are other players whose performances have been as good, if not better, in worse teams as well.
But I think it's harder to be good in a terrible Man United team, especially when they're having to, they're still trying to compete at the top level compared to, I don't know, like Nottingham Forest, who are like, I mean, I think it's easier to perform for a relegation team.
Speaking of Nottingham Forest, we didn't even mention Gibbs White.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he's still in the under-21s, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, who would you even play him over? Like,
it's true. I mean, I'd play Foden, Palmer, Maddison all over him. Another person we didn't mention, Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a few shouts for him, but I just think there's some players that are just better, and there's some players that Southgate's just going to take,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if it was the only person I can see in my list who I'd put Anthony Gordon over really is Grealish, but I still think Grealish is going to go over Gordon.
Yeah, I agree with that. Grealish just, he can do it for England. Like,
yeah,
he hasn't always done it for City, I don't think, but I mean, I feel like I remember him playing a lot better for England every time he plays. Like, I always feel like he's performing. He can kind of bring something. So I just don't think Anthony Gordon will he? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he did well for the under-21s in the summer just gone because they won. I don't know. Was it the Euros? It was the Euros, wasn't it?
I think they won something.
Yeah, we know our stuff. Yeah, but I think as you said, Grealish probably just edges it over him. If you were Solanke, would you consider switching nationalities right now?
Does he have other nationalities?
Nigeria.
I mean, I'd think about it. He's good enough to start for a national team, right? Like, he should. I mean,
the only thing is with Nigeria is Osimhen is going to start over him.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's just the exact same situation. Even if he did switch,
yeah, he'd get called up for Nigeria, but he wouldn't play that much.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think there's definitely a chance that in the future he could get in there over Watkins, or maybe if we get a new manager who would take 3 strikers. I don't know.
I mean, right now we're taking 3 strikers and Tony's going in instead of him, but
Yeah. Wow, that's a whole another debate.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, is that just a name pick? Like, because based on performances, how can you justify taking him over Solanke?
I think it just is.
Yeah.
I think because Tony's been linked with like Arsenal and all that kind of stuff, it's like, take Tony over Solanke because he's just apparently much better, even though he's just not.
Yeah, I mean, nothing he's done in the past, well, since he came back from the ban, really is justifying that pick. But
I mean, even before that, like last season, I think I've said this to you before. His goal tally from open play is the same as Solanke's this season, and Solanke has 10 more games to get more.
Really?
And then when Solanke's best season in the Championship also is better than Tony's best season in the Championship. I think the only thing that Solanke doesn't have going for him is the number of games he played in the Premier League before he, developed as a player. And so it kind of looks, I think he's got over 100 games in the Premier League and he hasn't got as many goals as Tony does, or similar number of goals as Tony does. I think it is. So it looks like he's a lot worse than he is. But I mean, that was when he was coming off the bench for Liverpool or coming off the bench for us in the season we got relegated. So, I mean, doesn't really tell you.
I mean, you can't really use that against a player.
Yeah, I know, but people do.
Yeah, well, I guess Southgate does.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think any other players that we've forgotten, because there's definitely going to be one. Like after we've finished recording this, we'll be like, oh, I forgot about that player. And then it's going to be really annoying.
I mean, Gallagher.
Yeah, that's true.
Talk for him. Again, now I think that the midfield's just there's too many options in midfield, really.
Yeah, there's too many options that are but none of them beat the midfield three that I put and you should have put and probably would have put if you were being serious.
If I was being serious, I would have Foden in there. I just wanted to put Gobby in there for the podcast, you know.
I should have put Solanke instead of Kane. That would have been really weird.
I mean, yeah, well, I would have loved to see you trying to justify that. There's at least an argument for me putting Firmino in there. Maybe not a strong one, but there's at least some.
Kane is in a farmers league. That's my argument. The England captain has been demoted to the bench for a player who's been captain once.
But yeah, I don't think there's any other players that we're missing really.
Dyer.
Come on.
He hasn't been dribbled past in the Bundesliga yet this season.
Has he played in the Bundesliga?
Yeah, he's actually playing most games.
Is he?
Because they got so many injuries. That's the only reason.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't watch the Bundesliga much, but from what I've read, it just felt like he's not even playing that much.
I think he is. I mean, I've watched 2 Bayern games since January, and he's played in both of them. So, but yeah, he doesn't get anywhere near the England squad for me.
No, never. Not even on the bench.
No, I'd take Gehi, Branthwaite.
Yeah.
Even Lloyd Kelly over him. I'm trying to think other English defenders, but
Tomori.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always so much talk about him, and he always seems to play well for Milan, but just never gets a sniff for England, and I don't know why that is really.
Yeah. I think, like Solanke at this point, I'd change nationalities.
Yeah, I probably would as well, if I was him. Maybe more so if I was him than Solanke, really.
Yeah. I don't know what other country he could play for, though.
Yeah. I don't know.
But realistically, if you're one of the best defenders in Italy,
and you're going to get a look at in England, like
you're going to get into most national teams.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I was him, I would switch.
If I was him, I'd be fuming. Yeah. Thing is, I think it's both him, Solanke. I think a lot of players, English players who aren't getting called up, know that Southgate probably will be going soon, and they're maybe waiting for the next manager to come in, see if they get a chance with him
potentially,
and then if they don't, then they'll switch. Because I feel like Southgate's going to go to Man United.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumours about that this week, and I am just dreading it. If you just see a story and it just feels like it's inevitable.
Maguire at centre back every week.
Yeah, like we'll get Henderson in, and he'll be playing over. Like it's going to be
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, I'm dreading it because it just feels like one of those. And I usually don't buy too much into Man United rumours because the papers will say absolutely anything. But you just see one, it just feels like it's going to happen.
Yeah. Looking at actually the teams that we've put out, we've got a young midfield, pretty young attack. The defence, will they all be playing the next World Cup? 2 years' time. I don't think Walker will.
Maybe not Walker. Maguire, most likely.
Hopefully by then he won't be near the England squad, and we'll have a different manager who'll decide. Mark Gehi is much better.
Stones
probably will. Stones isn't too old.
Shaw. I mean, Shaw's what 30?
30.
30 is he 30?
I think he's 30.
Around then.
He just gets injured too much.
Yeah, it depends on Shaw's health. Because but I'd say it's more likely than not that he would be playing.
Yeah, I'm just really hoping we get a new manager, England manager soon, because
Yeah,
the changes that will be made, I think, will be drastic because we have the talent, but it just never appears on for England. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. If we win the Euros, then Southgate is gonna probably stay.
I don't think he will. I still think they'd move on. I think he's had a good run. It's not a good record, is it? Like just one tournament out of how many has he been in?
This will be his fourth.
Fourth, yeah. And when you look at the exits, in some of them tournaments, like I still think he would probably move on.
Yeah, I heard that the FA want him to stay, but he's probably the one that is pushing to leave at the end of this. So it's interesting. But yeah, I want England to win obviously more than I want Southgate to leave.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
so
hopefully it happens. I mean, I think the past two tournaments, I've felt more hopeful than ever. So I'm hoping that this will finally be the one.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter where people are like, "Would you rather your club get a trophy or get promoted or whatever, or England win the Euros this summer?"
I'd rather England win the Euros.
Yeah, same. But everyone's like saying, "Oh, you're a fake fan if you don't want your club to win silverware or get promoted or whatever."
This is correct. Like I've always felt of myself more as an England fan than like I always love watching England more than like, not that I hate watching Man United, but but I've always loved like watching national football more. So I'd rather England win.
See, I haven't, but I'd still rather England win. And I guess because the international tournaments only come round once every 2 years with the Euros and the World Cup. So, and obviously, like, I've kind of got used to Bournemouth not winning anything.
Yeah.
And so it's
like I've seen Man United win things. Like, I've never seen England win anything in my life.
Yeah.
I'd much rather that than like if I could pick United win the Premier League next season or Euros this year, I'm picking Euros any day.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Obviously, Bournemouth aren't going to win the league, but like maybe get Europe next season, or that's actually quite difficult there. No, I think because it's not silverware, so I still think I'd pick England.
What Bournemouth winning the FA Cup? What would you rather?
I'd probably say Bournemouth win the FA Cup.
Really?
Yeah, because we've never won a trophy like ever, except for the Championship. Yeah. So I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, people take us seriously, whereas England are never going to be taken seriously. Let's be honest. Not while Southgate's in charge.
Yeah. Maybe when the next manager comes in.
Yeah. But I think the question of like, would you rather your team get promoted for like teams in like, I don't know, League One or something, or England win the Euros? I don't understand why you'd say I'd rather get promoted because like, I mean, yes, you get Championship football, but you'll probably just get relegated next season.
Yeah.
Or struggle next season. So I mean, England win the Euros. Everyone in the country's having a good time. Because like when people think back to like times when it's been like a really good feeling in England and like in the summer and stuff, it's always World Cup when we do well in the World Cup, when we do well in the Euros. Like when we got to the Euro final, everyone was like, "That was such a good summer." The 2018 World Cup, I feel like most people. Did you enjoy 2018 summer?
2018 when England beat Colombia on penalties, that night was one of the best nights of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Really any moment in that tournament as well. But like, even last winter, wasn't it? Really, the World Cup. Just so many good memories from it when England are playing well.
Yeah, and when it's like good weather and all that kind of stuff, it's like so much better.
And like, why would you not rather like imagine that? But it's winning an actual tournament. They're winning a trophy. Like,
winning a World Cup, or the Euros or something like that. Like, we've won one major tournament in our entire history.
As like most people weren't even like alive now. Weren't even
exactly
back then.
Yeah, it's like Bournemouth are one trophy away from equaling England's record. Like that's just stupid. Like Nottingham Forest have won more trophies in England. Like that's
Yeah, that's just crazy to even think.
Nottingham Forest won more European trophies in England.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? Villa as well, right? They've won more.
Yeah. West Ham,
Yeah.
they've won more.
I just don't know why you wouldn't want an England trophy. Like,
Yeah. It brings the country together as well, whereas,
yeah,
club ties divide us.
yeah. But I mean, is there anything else to say on the national tournament?
No, I feel like Lewis would probably, if he was here,
Lewis
he'd
would
have a lot
probably
more
be
to say.
waffling on. We've got more podcasts coming up there, don't we? The
Yeah.
VAR one still to come out, I think.
VAR, we've got the new Champions League format next season. They're all coming out at some point in the future. We don't know when.
Yeah.
Again, that's up to Lewis.
We'll probably do. We might do something about the national friendlies if there's depending on what Southgate does.
Yeah. Depending on timings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It might slow down over Easter, the podcasts. We've actually recorded a lot in a short period of time, which is
we started 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
2.5 weeks ago.
We've got about 5 done. I think.
Six recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our 6th one. So yeah, in 2.5 weeks, that's not bad.
Pretty impressive.
We would have more done as well, I think, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
If we were able to, but we just couldn't get the online thing to work.
Yeah. Well, quite a few technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Couldn't book out the studio.
Yeah. If we don't have technical difficulties, then we'll record some over Easter. But
yeah.
As for now, this is the last planned one that we have for recording. So
enjoy it.
Yeah, and we'll be back for hopefully when the league restarts back in, or maybe a bit later than that.
Yeah. When is it? Just after April, isn't it?
The next game's on the 30th in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think
I'll be away then.
Say United have Brentford.
We have Everton at home. And if Lewis was here, he'd tell us who Spurs have, or probably wouldn't actually, because he doesn't actually know who Spurs are playing half the time.
He never seems to know, yeah, does he?
Yeah, but hopefully Man United win. Who do you say you're playing?
Brentford.
Yeah, hopefully Man United win, definitely.
Yeah.
Hopefully Bournemouth win, playing against Everton. Hopefully a Spurs loss.
That's the ideal scenario.
Yeah. So we'll see you all for another podcast in the future.